I say this to clients all the time. The boldest way to feel good about yourself is acting with an integrity of those values. And I will continue to say that. And that's where I think everyone would benefit by starting.
My reality is different now. So I'm having and holding integrity with the woman that I am today. And next year it'll be a different story. Next year I'm going to look back and I'm going to be like, what the hell was I doing? Hey everybody, it's Bianca.
And it's Emilia.
Welcome to another episode of Evolve Ventures, where we're helping growth minded humans evolve by breaking one limiting belief at a time. We hope you enjoyed the last episode, 309, Motivation Monday, why it's okay to ask for help. For today, 310, a bold way to feel good about yourself. This episode came from a suggestion that Emilia had, and it's a way of feeling good about yourself that I think a lot of people wouldn't initially think of when we talk about how to feel good about yourself. But I think the more we dive into this, and I'm sure you'd agree, I think the more we dive into this, the more people will be like, oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense. One of the biggest ways that I've seen with people who feel so amazing about themselves and vice versa, a lot of the people who have really negative self-image, really low self-belief, really low self-worth, they don't have this quality. What I'm talking about is integrity. And integrity means something different to all people, but what we're referring to as integrity is following through with the things you say to yourself and following through with what you say you're going to do, being in line with your beliefs, being in line with your values, and really being in line with the self-image that you have about yourself. Now, that's kind of a big definition, but really think about it for a second. To everybody listening to this right now, the people that you really admire the most, the people that you idolize the most, the people that you find yourself drawn to, I would bet money on the fact that these are people who are so certain of themselves. They have that charming, charismatic nature, and they are very certain of themselves and who they are. They are very certain and take action on the beliefs, values, and ideas that they hold, and they don't let those beliefs, values, and ideas sway from the thoughts, opinions, feelings, whatever of other people. I was very much somebody who struggled with this for a really long time. Now, thankfully, I have more integrity with myself than I've ever had before, and it's only getting better and it's only getting more. And the reason that I can say that is because I give myself the permission, kind of tying into the last episode, why it's okay to ask for help. I give myself the permission to acknowledge that I wasn't that before. I didn't follow through on almost anything that I said. To other people, yeah, for sure, but not when it came to me. I didn't follow through on when I said I was going to do something for myself. I didn't follow through on when I, you know, had a goal for myself. I didn't follow through when I said I'm going to wake up at 6 and I wouldn't wake up until 8 because I'd keep hitting the snooze button. You lose confidence in yourself. You lose self-love. You lose the any chance of a positive image on yourself when you're not sticking to what you say and following through on it, not only with other people, but primarily starting within. Because you can't really be there for other people if you're not there for yourself. And yeah, cliche, you got to love yourself first. But like, really think about it for a second. If it's so easy for you to hold promises to other people and not to yourself, that's a huge indicator that something is wrong. Because why are you being so there for everyone else, but not for you? That means something. And you are hands down the most integrous person I've ever met. It's why you're capable of being there for everybody, being that rock and that firm base for everybody. It's because you are that for yourself. It starts within. How did you get to that? And you helped me do that too. So for everybody listening, how did you do that? And then what can people do to start really building that deep sense of integrity within themselves so that they can feel good and really be the men, women, and just human beings that they all want to be?
Yeah, but I appreciate that because truth is, like, I am more integrous now than I ever have been too. And I think that all of us find ourselves on the spectrum of integrity. Again, alignment is one of my top three core values. And what alignment means to me is really integrity with my own values, right? So acting in, thinking in, especially when no one's even looking, like, because I go to bed with me and my thoughts only, right? So that is super important for me to make sure that I'm upholding what I value in my own inner world. And so you don't start that way, right? Like a lot of us don't start there. And it is over time a learning of oneself that allows you to be acting, thinking, believing, being truly within integrity of yourself. And that's why it's so bold, because it's a daring venture. It's a daring pursuit to figure out what does integrity mean to you. It's a daring pursuit because of the fact that it takes a lot of courage, a lot of humility, a lot of vulnerability. And I can recall one succinct time and when I was in college and it felt like my soul was finally seen for the first time. And it was when I had started to read Aristotle, and I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but it was more so when
Please don't.
when stoicism had found me. And why I mention that is because it was the principles, the moral, ethical virtues and principles that were the scaffolding of me understanding what actually integrity means. And I find that not only for myself, but for everyone else to kind of get started or start reflecting on this and really taking practical, meaningful steps. It really starts in one of the primary virtues of self-reflection and self-awareness and really being able to go within and explore that territory, because for a lot of us we're taught just to go outside and go chase external success and chase, be more concerned about what other people are doing, saying, thinking, feeling than we are about the concern within our inner worlds. And that's where I started recognizing the value of the inner world, and through self exploration understanding what do I actually value, irrespective of what other people think, of what other people want, and knowing full well, believing in myself that I am the creator of my life in many regards. And it's a culmination of our choices, either acting in within integrity of our own values that we define or acting outside of that. And I hate to put the binary contrast out there because I think it can feel really cagey for a lot of people. And I know for me, the feminine felt very much caged by that. However, those areas of scaffolding can really set that soul, not to be super woo, but can set that soul free because you actually have the structure and the guidance and we'll call them guidelines to live by and to act in accordance
Mhm.
with. And so, um, you know, modern day starting feeling good about yourself. We have said this before on podcast episodes, and this is in the same vein. When you make a promise to yourself and you break that, yes, to what you said, B, you lose confidence. So a lot of people will just stop making promises to themselves on their inner world, right? And that's not necessarily the way to go, because in that there's an underlying fundamental integrity that's not even being ignited. And instead you're kind of turning away from what you could be and what your potential could be if you were to turn towards the challenge, that daring pursuit, that daring adventure to try to figure out who you are, what you value, what you believe in, and what your aspirations are. And so I say this to clients all the time: the boldest way to feel good about yourself is acting with an integrity of those values. And I will continue to say that. And that's where I think everyone would benefit by starting.
Hey everybody, my name is Isaac, and I have been a part of Evolve for a little over a year now. It's not been really great, honestly. I'm just kidding. My experience with Evolve has been nothing short of phenomenal, and the community, the Evolve Ventures Society, is just a group of people who are all like-minded and growth-oriented, and you can ask questions and get support from anyone, and it's a really private group and you can share and be open, and that's what I really love about it. Emilia and Bianca have been nothing short of uh, phenomenal, honestly. The amount they care about their team members and their mental well-being and their mental health, and improving everyone's self-awareness, in terms of being growth-minded and growing to where you want to be. I could not have asked for a better place to be at right now in this point in my life. And yeah, have a great rest of your year ahead and keep evolving, everybody.
And start small. I think, that's the biggest part of this too. Like most people aren't going to be starting off where you did, and I sure as hell did not. I
No.
couldn't keep promises to myself. I couldn't do what I said I was going to do. And instead of letting that feel so overwhelming and letting that feel like I'm never going to be able to do anything and allowing that to become the narrative, I started as small as I possibly could on the moment to moment basis. And when it
Mm,
came to what you said, having that sense of inner reflection turning into the inner world, it's giving yourself the permission to allow that to take time, to
mhm.
allow that inner knowing
Yeah,
to
wisdom.
grow over a period of time. You're not just going to know yourself, right?
Mm-mm.
Like people are preaching these ideas of like you're just going to start doing this work and everything is going to come to fruition. No.
No, it's like a redwood. You plant a seed.
The purpose of life, I really believe, is to learn through every experience that you can and to forever grow and figure out who you are. You know, like
Yeah,
the idea you can't teach an old dog new tricks, not one that doesn't want to learn.
facts. Yeah.
That's what makes the difference. You can learn up until the day you die. You can
Mhm,
grow up until the day you die. So when you have that understanding, then this becomes a lifelong process. And that
mhm,
can be intimidating or it can be beautiful because you have the understanding that I'm going to continue figuring this out. I'm going to continue figuring me out. And along every path, along just every day, every week, every month, every year, I'm going to keep figuring this stuff out and acting in
mhm.
accordance with who I am right now. Like,
Yeah,
you and I were saying this before because we were talking about how group coaching is going to be launching in July. I
yeah.
literally said to you, do you remember what our lives were back like last year at this time? It was so radically different. Now, if I
Yeah.
were to sit there and say, "Oh, well, I'm a fraud because I'm saying things differently now than I did back then." No, that was just my reality back
That's
then.
the evolution you've had be over the last year.
Exactly. Exactly. My reality is different now. So I'm having and holding integrity with the woman that I am today. And next
Mhm.
year it'll be a different story. Next year I'm going to look back and I'm going to be like, "What the hell was I doing?" And that's okay. That's the point. As long as
Mm,
every day I'm doing my absolute best to stay within integrity of myself, to do what I say I'm going to do, and to try my best. This isn't about perfection, it's about the attempt, it's about
mhm,
effort. And a good example to kind of close this out, I'm going to call myself out for a second. My family took a trip. This will be like 2 months ago at this point. Um,
mm,
to Puerto Rico in the middle of May. It was a surprise trip. My aunt had her 60th birthday. She didn't know any of us were coming. It was a beautiful surprise. It was an amazing thing. And there was this girl that worked at the resort, and
mm,
I was so attracted to her. It was ridiculous. And one of my core values is courage.
mhm.
Now, every day that I'm there, I'm like wanting to throw up in my mouth because I want to go talk to this girl. And it's like the fear that's coming up, all of the limiting beliefs, all of the she lives in Puerto Rico, what are you going to have a long distance relationship? You don't even know this person, and like
Yeah.
every part of me trying to convince me not to do this because I was scared.
Mhm.
And it was one of the last days that we were there. And I kept telling myself, before I leave this trip, I'm going to say something. Before I leave this trip, I'm going to say something.
Mm.
And I did. I
Good for
said
you.
something. It We had a little mini conversation, and that was it. And I felt so good about myself afterwards. Not because I was expecting a specific result, but because I showed myself I will do the things that I say I'm going to do.
Mhm.
I'm a lot better than I think I am. I'm not this like awkward person that I try to convince myself that I am. I have a lot to offer. And every time I make steps like that, it's just evidence for that. So
Right.
I built incredible integrity with myself knowing that I did that. So it's small things like that. Now granted that wasn't small for me. That was like a level 10, like I literally want to puke in my mouth, but I didn't start I didn't start there.
Yeah.
I started 5, 6 years ago making small, small, small promises to myself and
Mhm.
building to that point. And if this is something that you're interested in, if this is something that you want to learn and you want to get better at, the group coaching that we're going to be launching July 25th is the starting date, round 2. This is a beautiful opportunity for you to learn these skills, for you
Yeah.
to learn what are your core beliefs, what are your core values, who are you? And
Mhm.
being in a group with 9 other really amazing people who are on the same journey and are doing the same thing. We
Mhm.
had amazing reviews and responses in the last one, and this one is going to be 10 times better because we've refined the program and it's going to be so much better than the first.
Mhm.
So if you did the last one, you might want to do this one because it's going to be way better. And if this is something that you're interested in, you can ask any of the people who did it before. They will rave about it. They told us, so
Yeah.
I'm sure they'd
Yeah.
be more than happy to tell all of you.
Facts. And one of the things too that I want to add in here be that those little courageous moments that make a big impact. One of the things that is so impactful for so many of us to be and really embody this boldness that we all aspire to have is by making sure that we can surround ourselves with people who are interested in our core values so that they can hold us to account in how we want to show up with the world, right? Like I remember you talking to me about that girl and me encouraging you. And I'm sure you talked to other people about that who could encourage you to go do the thing, right? Despite the fear. And so group coaching is a wonderful container where you can leverage that effect again to help you act more within integrity of your core values, or even at the very least uncover them, right? And be bold in your life in a way that you never even once believed was possible for you. And so I want to share one sentiment before we give our episode suggestions from one of the members who had joined the former group coaching program that we just spoke about, which was the Evolve group coaching was a positive one. I was able to learn about techniques and strategies to help me work through problems in my personal life in a safe and positive space with intelligent, wise, committed, and positively motivated coaches. This was my very first group coaching experience, and it was so beneficial because I learned many things, was supported by a group of like-minded individuals, and I was able to develop and grow in a safe space. That safe space, what this person is talking about, is what I cannot wait to continue to cultivate for everyone in that group. It's going to be so freaking awesome, and I cannot wait. One of my favorite things that we do. So with that being said, like Bianca had mentioned, if you're interested in that, shoot us a DM, send us a message, or feel free to go to evolveventurestech.com, and group coaching will be a page of its own. And there's an early bird registration right now that you can sign up for. Okay. So, with that being said, my episode suggestion for this one, if you like this episode and want more of it, go to number 243, which is a Motivation Monday episode talking about how to stop downplaying your accomplishments. When you recognize the wins that you have, like you did not downplay that accomplishment. That was a big impact for you. When you learn how to do that and do that all the time, the compound effect of that is genuinely life-changing. So B, your episode suggestion and or final takeaway.
281, how to tell hard truths. It starts with telling hard truths to yourself and then having the courage to say it to other people.
Facts.
All right, everybody. We hope you enjoyed this episode. We cannot wait to have you in group coaching, and we will see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.